Hello everybody! Yeah, I'm still doing my palette challenge series thing. I've just been having some technical issues and stuff. I actually not only have this one all recorded and stuff, but I've recorded and finished the third one as well, and I plan to do the fourth one soon, so expect more of these in the future. I'm still doing them and I still intend to do them. I've just had some issues getting it to my computer and stuff like that, but yeah, but here we are with the second one. You'll notice it looks a lot different than my first one. The colors were a lot of oranges and blues, so I kind of got reminded of like a sort of a deserty kind of scene. So that's kind of what I wanted to go for, and it ended up looking a lot more. I don't know what the proper word is. A lot more like harder than the last one. Like the last one was a lot more in my style. This one's a lot kind of a bit more of a variant, I guess, of it, just like with how the eye looks and things like that. But I thought it turned out really well, honestly. I mean, there was a lot of problems I had with like color and stuff like that. And also, I want to say, just quick side note, I'm sorry if I sound like tired or just totally out of it. Um, Recording this, and also like if I stutter and like drag on and a lot. Today has just not been a great day, really. I've just been really out of it. It wasn't a bad day, nor am I sick or anything like that. I've just had kind of a draggy day, I guess. I think some of it just spans from some of the stuff I've been doing on here. Like um, I have my contest still going on DeviantArt, which it's been 2 months and since it closed and finished, and I still need to judge all the entries, but I keep putting it off because I want to every time I go in and I start judging things, I want to be at 100% because I don't want to like judge this with my full attention and focus and give it an honest rating, and then meanwhile the next one I go to I'm super tired and lazy and I half-ass it, which is just unfair to people who enter. So I want to judge it when I'm at my full energy, but that with school it often doesn't happen very often with school. So um, and then you have like flipping commissions, which are like I'm still been on the same commission, and I don't know, it shouldn't be taking me this long, but okay, I have about 5 recordings that are 30 minutes long. I mean, does that say anything about how like I'm still doing it, but like it's just um, man, I need to get them done so I can reopen commissions and stuff like that. And then you got like I really desperately want to do more character reviews, and I want to do all this other kind of stuff, and I keep starting on these projects too, but I keep not finishing it because I like it becomes like where I put it off so long. I decided like, well, what's the point of finishing it now? It's almost old, and it's like, I swear, editing is my. I hate editing. I can't. I don't like editing. It's not fun. I mean, like simple stuff. I'm on a roll with like putting in music. If you give me if I have the music or whatever, I can do that easily and whatnot. But like editing those reviews are not fun, and I don't know. I'm not an editor. I'm an artist, not an editor, I guess. But anyway, I do plan maybe one day. I have my Sin comic thing going on, and I plan actually one day, whenever I have it's gone on and I have enough expressions, I might actually use the characters in that story as like avatars, um, so that I can like, cause and I'll use them differently depending on what I'm going to be talking about, and I just thought that'd be kind of cool if I used them and I just had a different one for every occasion. But right now there's not enough. I mean, there's a decent amount for one of them at least, but anyway, I'm rambling. I had this idea for this series, and I'm sorry it's taken like 5 minutes now, but I had an idea for this series is that I don't always know what to talk about with these because my process is so quick that I end up having a lot of dead space. So I thought what might be fun is to use these as almost like tutorial videos. Like I'll pick something out of the video related to it and I'll talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to try that with this one and the next one. I already kind of failed this one because I just rambled for 5 minutes on stuff unrelated to the picture. So let's talk about the picture before I ramble anymore. So I decided the topic I wanted to pick. I was thinking about like lighting and coloring and stuff like that, and I was trying to decide which one would be good with this, and I decided I thought that the best one for this one would actually be lighting, I think, because and there'll probably be future ones where I talk more on lighting, because lighting's a very broad subject, as with most things in art. But this one just had a nice little, I guess, a nice little lighting thing, so I could have more of an ability to talk about it. So I'll briefly talk about lighting here. This will be like the first part of my lighting lesson, I guess. I don't know. Um, I'm more. It's gonna be more. This one will be more on like the effects lighting can give, I guess. Again, there's like so many things to talk about lighting, like colors and effects and light sources and things. So I'm gonna talk first of all. One big mistake I see a lot of beginning artists that blah, blah, pretend that sentence never happened, but one mistake I see a lot of beginning artists make is that they don't have a light source in mind. And that's myself included. A long time ago when I was first getting into art, I didn't understand how light sources work. I didn't have a concept of like how in some places the shading is harder, in some places it's softer, in some places it's darker, in some it's lighter, in some it's more dynamic, etc., etc. And I just kind of slap shading on where I thought it would go, and it didn't look good. And that's another thing. Like, and you'll see that a lot. There's so many artists, beginning artists, who will, for their shading, will take an airbrush, throw it in the places they think it goes, and then go from there. And they'll typically use like black, which is a story for another day. But like the problem with that is because that shadows have many different like values. There's so much different kinds of thing with shading that you need to think about, and light source is one of the big ones as well. And I thought this one was a good one to talk about because there's a lot of variation in the shading and stuff like that. And the light source, like a lot of people seem to have like this weird, there's just this weird universal light that they kind of just use for their light source, which isn't really the proper way to do it. What For light source, you need it's really important where your light source is, honestly, and it's important to consider whether. Now, obviously, you can make it very simple. You can make it just a typical, almost like a studio light that's just really simple, make soft shading and stuff like that, or you can have dynamic lighting, dramatic lighting, which is more common in like when you do scenes and stuff like that. And it's really important, especially when you're making a full-fledged art piece, to consider where your light source is, because sometimes the light source can change the whole mood of a drawing. For example, a light, like if you have the same character or whatever and they're like, doing whatever, and you have the light source coming in from almost like a studio side, it can look almost more professional, like it was a photo shoot. Meanwhile, if you have it coming from above, it looks like there's like a more deeper meaning. It can sometimes represent like hope and like looking up to light and things like that. And sometimes like downward lighting, which is often very difficult, but downward lighting can bring drama and things like that into a picture. Just the light source is very important, and it can change how a whole picture can be felt, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Now back to the whole thing I was talking about, different values of shading in your art. Again, like I stated, a lot of artists will take just one airbrush and they'll throw it over every place, and that is not the proper way to do it. You see, if you look at just even this picture alone, you'll notice like how there's parts of the cloth and like right under the eye and stuff like that where the shading is a lot harder, a lot more solid, because that's just that's how the shadows are cast. Meanwhile, there's towards like the corner and sort of on the hair and on the face and stuff, there's a lot softer shading. Shading varies depending on the area. You'll notice like very often like the shadow below, like on your neck, under your jaw is typically harder and can sometimes get softer towards the edges. and stuff like that. Meanwhile, shading like around your arms and stuff are typically a lot softer because your arms are more round and stuff like that. While shading on your clothes is typically very, very hard shadows because that's how it works. That's how it works. That's how wrinkles work, and they cast more solid shadows. It's the best thing to do to fix this if you're in the sort of airbrush, if you're stuck in using the airbrush and you don't know how the shadows would fall in certain places. The best idea is to use references. But it is very important that you understand that lighting and shading doesn't look the same on everything. Lighting on the eyes is going to be different than lighting on the hair. Lighting on metal is going to look different than lighting on fabric, and etc., etc. In fact, you'll often see people who like will take, when they draw hair, they'll make like a band of light just directly around the hair, which is realistic in most cases, but they'll make it very, very bright and very, very, like, just very noticeable and stuff, which is very inaccurate, and it ends up looking more like metal than it does hair. So it's best to study how lighting works realistically so you can understand the variation of shadows and lighting on different objects. But that's the end of my mini art lesson. I know it's terrible. Future ones should be a lot better. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little art ramble, and I hope you like the picture. I thought it turned out pretty nice. Tell me your thoughts, your opinions. I'd love to hear what you guys say, and I'll see you in the next video. Zodiac out.